Hi y'all, welcome to Sweet Tea Astrology and Tarot. My name is Erica, and this is a special video for April 4th, 2019, because today Pluto is conjunct the south node of the moon at 23 degrees Capricorn, and this could be highlighting or pointing to the total lunar eclipse that we're going to be experiencing on July 16th of this year. That total lunar eclipse is going to be at 24 degrees of Capricorn. It will be impacting cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. I believe those are right. Not fully caffeinated yet, so I'll make sure that if it's not right, I'll have it corrected in the description box down below. Prone to misspeaking, I am human. But Pluto is the planet that is... Pluto was demoted for a long time, and I don't know if it was an April Fool's joke or not, but on Twitter it was like the International Astronomy Association or something like that was indicating that Pluto was going to be a planet again. It may have been trolling, but I need to do another deep dive on that and find out if that was truth or not. But yeah, Pluto, it's the farthest little planet out there. It's hardest to see. It took a very long time to discover. Pluto can represent the shadow side. It can represent an evolutionary point. Jeffery Wolf Green, an evolutionary astrologer who's written many astrology books, there's a really profound quote that I'm using in this little video, I guess, video script. Pluto is the underlying natural law of evolution for all things, including humans. So Pluto's an evolutionary point, meaning if you aren't going to level up, then the body can wear away and your soul will level up. Pluto is the black to the sun's white. And that's just darkness and light, shadow and the opposite of shadow, light. The south node I've been describing as, well, if Pluto is the purge, the gunk and funk that has been expelled, then the south node is the toilet flush, removing it, taking it away, pulling it further away. So Pluto conjunct the south node. If you're a Capricorn, you've definitely been feeling this little pang coming for a minute. It's been building. It may have started around the new moon, and you've just worked up to this point, or it could be that it is a reflective point back. Well, once we get to July, we'll be looking back at this time to say, oh, this is what was supposed to be removed from my life. So it's almost as if the universe is giving you an opportunity to cut the cord before this full moon lunar eclipse occurs in Capricorn in July. So it's an opportunity and a chance for you to decide what leaves, because if you don't and you continue to hang on, then the universe will strip it from you at the lunar eclipse. That's the way that I've always understood it. It's a little fatalistic, but the way that I started studying astrology was under a fatalistic lens. I came to astrology, or astrology found me, in October of 2014 after I survived a near-death house fire. And I needed explanation more than what I was given with what was around me. And the main phrase that I kept hearing was, God wouldn't give you any more than you can't handle. And there's a lot of truth in that statement. But at the time, it did not resonate for me at all, because I have lived a very traumatized existence. And Pluto can represent trauma. I'm a Scorpio rising with Uranus in the first house. And for evolutionary astrologers, the theory is, as I understand it right now, I am reading a book on it, is that Uranus is an indicator of a trauma point. Pluto is an indicator of a trauma point. Aquarius, the house of Aquarius, speaks to trauma points and the nodes of the moon. Again, I'm reading that book and I'm just now starting to learn a little bit more about evolutionary astrology. So I may have gotten a little bit of that wrong. And if I did, that's okay. I'm human. Correct me in the comments. This is more an informational video for those who don't know a whole lot about astrology. So I've been talking about degrees. This Pluto being conjunct the South Node is at 23 degrees. And from Sabian Mysteries, jamesburgess.com, I retrieved a Sabian symbol for 23 degrees that reads, 2 awards for bravery in war, 2 awards for bravery in war, or another Sabian symbol also tied to 23 degrees is a soldier receiving 2 awards for bravery in combat. What have you been at war with? What have you constantly been haunted by? What is that trigger that will get your attention faster than anything else? Those are the types of things that you are battling against, hopefully. And if so, then this conjunction of Pluto being on top of the South Node, especially if you make the choice to release, is going to feel brave. It's going to feel like possibly a sacrifice for some of you. But in that sacrifice comes the reward of peace or clarity or justice, whatever it is that your soul is really seeking. Now I'm going to talk about each house or each sign and the house that it is being affected in. I'm going to pull an overarching card for just this video from the Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle deck, and I'm also going to pull for each of the signs a Lenormand card to help give a little bit more distinction or clarification as to what could be needing released, or at least cords cut in your world. And again, this is a point where you can choose. In July, you may not have that choice. In July, the universe may choose for you. So let's approach today with the energy of the Sunstone. Sunstone deals with strength, leadership, and benevolence. Wow. When we're talking about receiving awards for bravery in war, that requires a tremendous amount of courage, bravery, and leadership. Sunstone deals with strength, benevolence, and leadership. It can help heal and amplify the vibrations of the sacral chakra. Sunstone is the gem for sacral leadership. It inspires you to take action and own your desires, prompting creativity and bringing energy to your ideas. You've pulled this card because it's time for you to take charge of your endeavors, whether they are creative, spiritual, or business related. So meditate with Sunstone to overcome self-doubt, fuel conviction, and to live your purpose with confidence. It's asking you to be brave. It's asking you to make the decision in what needs to go. This is a Marie Kondo point where if it does not spark joy, then let it go. It doesn't mean that it won't come back to you. It absolutely can. And this can be anything that you would release. For some of you who are inclined to believe in reincarnation, this can be like leaving stuff behind from your karmic past. That can be this life, that could be prior lives. Again, there are some people and some tenets of astrology that believe in that. It's really what works for you. Take what works for you from this video and apply it, and what doesn't, just gloss over. So, while I was doing the research, I also ran across a phrase that I copied down from the Sabian Mysteries website, jamesburgess.com. It reads that we may confidently expect that all that we do in service towards the collective, to the collective need, will be appropriately rewarded in due time. So with the Sabian symbol leaning to the idea of a reward or two for your bravery in war or service, a reward for your service. It could be a recognition point, a recognition of which you need to release, a recognition of which you need reward in as well. And this recognition can be looked at through two different lenses. Is this recognition self-serving, meaning are you doing it for the applause? Or are you doing it for the higher good? Are you doing it for society's benefit? Are you doing it with a benevolent heart? Are you leading from the heart for yourself or for others? Yeah. With leadership comes high reward and onerous duty, meaning heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? And again, the quote from Jeffery Wolf Green is that Pluto is the underlying natural law of evolution for all things, including humans. This is a level up point. And you get the opportunity to do it if you want to. If not, you're going to be forced to level up in July with a total eclipse of the moon at 24 degrees of Capricorn, just 1 degree away from this point right here. You have 1 degree to make the decision to let go or not. So for Aries, this is in your 10th house. The 10th house is the house of Capricorn. It is the house traditionally ruled by Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And we'll be talking about Saturn conjunct the South Node towards the end of the month. But this specific aspect of Pluto conjunct the South Node is lasting from this exact date on the 4th to at least mid-month, at least. And then it will shift from Pluto to Saturn. I'll have a separate video for Saturn. But yeah, I'll also have each sign time-stamped in the description down below. Aries, 10th house, house of Capricorn. That's the house that I say I attribute to the William Shakespeare quote, all the world is a stage. This is a stage that you approach the world on. It's how the world knows you through your career, status, and reputation. You're dealing with authority figures. This is authority figures in your world, authority figures in your life that you have to answer to, and the authorities as well. The 10th house is also sometimes seen as a house of destiny. Now, I pulled, or actually, the bear card jumped out of the deck while I was shuffling. Let's talk about a couple different things that could be taken away from this card. First, this is the 15th card of the Lenormand deck, and we had a new moon solar eclipse at the beginning of the year at 15 degrees of Capricorn. So go back and think about what occurred in early January. This eclipse occurred on the 5th of the month. So the 5th of January, a new moon solar eclipse at 15 degrees of Capricorn occurred. Capricorn and Cancer are going to be experiencing the eclipses for the next couple of years. So they're really going to be going through it. If you have any Caps or any Cancers in your life, give them a little extra love because they're being forced to evolve on a rapid rate. So we could take the 15 in that way. We could go 1 + 5 is 6, and that speaks to the house of Virgo, work, health, services, and competencies and skills that you bring to the services that you provide. We also have the 10, sorry for the extreme close-up, 10 of clubs. The clubs are the wands, the fire signs in the tarot deck. So the 10 of wands, 10s are completion, and the wands deal with fire signs, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. And it's a card of burden and responsibility. The bear card in the Lenormand deck deals with your lifestyle and authority figures. So looking at your career, looking at your status, looking at your dealings with authority figures, possibly your parents. This is giving you an opportunity to cut the cords on on the burden and the responsibility that you have been feeling in that 10th house or that 6th house of work, health, that 10th house of career and status. Don't be afraid to be a mama bear, even if you have to be the mama bear for yourself. That's an important part of self-care and self-love. All right, so let me get to shuffling again. And Taurus, this is occurring in your 9th house. The 9th house is traditionally ruled by Sagittarius. Sagittarius is ruled by the planet Jupiter. And this is your worldview expanded through study or travel. This is long-distance trips, higher education, university studies, the study of the legal system, religion, philosophy, psychology, metaphysics, astrology, tarot, stuff like this. It deals with foreign people, foreign places, foreign things, foreign languages as well. Your trips, your questing. It is your worldview expanded through study or travel. The glyph of Sagittarius is the archer, and it is if your worldview is at the very tip of that arrow. It is as far as your eyes can go, as far as you can go. All right, Taurus, you had a card jump out of the deck as well. Aries did too. This is the Sun card. And it's interesting because the full moon lunar eclipse is occurring in July, which is the time period for Leo, which is ruled by the Sun. The Sun is the 31st card of the Lenormand deck. 3 + 1 is 4, and that speaks to the 4th house on the astrological wheel, ruled by Cancer, traditionally. It's the house of your home, family, roots, stability, and foundation. We can also look at the Ace of Diamonds. The Ace of Diamonds would be the Ace of Coins or Pentacles in the tarot deck. Aces are a potential point for manifestation, and with the Coins or Pentacles, it's a material manifestation. It could be prosperity. It could be abundance. It could be getting more resources coming towards you or to you, either by July or starting in July, just depending. Earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So that's interesting as well. Let's go on to Gemini. Gemini, this South Node Pluto conjunction is occurring in your 8th house. This is particularly interesting because the 8th house is ruled by Scorpio traditionally. Scorpio is ruled by Mars and Pluto. And the 8th house is the house of major transformation. It's life, death, and rebirth. It's the blood and guts of it all. It is the stuff you don't talk about at the dinner table. Debts, money owed, money coming in. The money coming in could be loans. It could be scholarships. It could be grants. It could be insurance payouts, inheritance. It's a taboo house. It's the house of intimate issues and sexuality as well. And the fact that Pluto is in the 8th house, conjunct the South Node, meaning for some of you, you had a card jump. Hang on. For some of you, there's pregnancy in the air or dealing with a child. I'm going to pull an extra card because I want more information. Okay. So 8th house, life, death, rebirth. We've got the child card. It could be speaking about a child, to a child, or you looking back on your childhood as well, because the child's posture is towards the left, and that's how I see it in the past. That's how I read my cards. The child is also the 13th card of the Lenormand deck. 1 + 3 is 4, is looking to that 4th house that's traditionally ruled by Cancer. That is home, family, roots, stability, foundations. Again, childhood issues, childhood stuff, or a child coming into the home. We also have a Jack of Spades. The Jack of Spades is attributed to the Knight or Page of Swords. Swords are air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And the Knights and the Pages are about motion and movement, or messages and messengers. This could be a curious, energetic, opinionated, and hasty individual or energy coming into your life. Pardon me, Gemini. Hold a card for extra information. And we got the Tower. The Tower is not the same as in the tarot deck. This has a different meaning. This is the 19th card. 1 plus 9 is 10. That's the 10th house. And that's your career, status, reputation, dealing with authority figures. It's also a house of destiny. But the Tower deals with isolation, building, and organizations. For some of you, it's about looking back on your childhood, looking back on your childhood home, possibly moving from a childhood home, or wanting to move because a child is on the way. And that 8th house is speaking to, like, how are we going to pay for this? I've got to save this much money. My life is fixing to change in a big way. And it may not be that this South Node conjunction is specifically speaking to this ordeal at this particular time. It could be looking down the road to that full moon lunar eclipse in Capricorn, 1 degree away from where we're talking about this here right now, Gemini. So pay very close attention to what's going on in that very, very intimate area of your life. So Cancer, we have this Pluto South Node conjunction occurring in your 7th house. 7th house is traditionally ruled by Libra. Libra is ruled by the planet Venus. The 7th house is the house of our relationships. Doesn't necessarily have to be sexual. These are partnerships, open collaboration, people you work with. It's probably how some of you have met your partner, or partner could be sexual or business. But the 7th house is also the house of open enemies and open beef and frenemies. For you, Cancer, I believe that there's an issue where you need to let a relationship possibly drift away. It's probably a social relationship. The Garden is the 20th card. It deals with socialization, parties, and society. It's like garden parties and going and hanging out. 20th card, 2 plus 0 is 2. Speaking to the 2nd house, it may be that, like, your value systems have changed in some way, because the 2nd house speaks to the money, love, values, and possessions that you have or that you own or that you want. So yeah, looking at relationships that need to change because values have changed. Money may have changed. Feelings may have changed. You can also look at the 8 of spades or swords. 8s, again, that's 8th house of life, death, and rebirth. Intimate issues, taboo stuff, money owed, money coming in, like through loans, grants, inheritance, that sort of stuff. The 8 of swords is about isolation and imprisonment. Some of you may feel very restricted because of your financial situation, and you want to go out, but you can't. For others of you, your financial situation has changed, and you no longer can go out, and you feel isolated because of it. And yeah, I would say one way to combat the loneliness, Cancer, would be get outside and work in a garden. Start your own little garden, even if it's a rock garden. Let it be something that you put your energy and focus into, so that you're not so upset about the relationships that may be experiencing the ebbs and flows of life. All right, Leo, we are feeling this Pluto South Node conjunction at 23 degrees in your 6th house of work and health, or competency and skills you bring to the services that you provide. 6th house is your daily routine and the things that you do on a regular basis to make your body, home, life work at its most optimal level for you. It also deals with your pets. So what do you need to let go of? What is not working for you in that area of work and health? Is your job too much now? Has it been too much? We got the coffin. I see this as a card of needing rest. For some of you, you may be dealing with a like a coworker being very ill, possibly leading to death. This card can represent death as well, but that doesn't mean every Leo is going to die. That's not it at all. But since the major total solar lunar eclipse that occurred in 2017, I know of several people who have died due to heart-related issues, and Leo does rule the heart. Some of you may need to go get your heart checked out. Could speak to illness, could speak to endings as well. And the endings could be dealing with the work situation. It may not even be a health situation for the majority of y'all. It may be a work situation where there's an ending. And the ending could be that there is like, the ending is the task at hand, meaning what you're doing now is going to change in some way. It could be that you decide to leave. It could be that the company downsizes. It could be that you're moving because your spouse needs, is relocating. Could be many different reasons as to why the ending is coming, but it could speak to there being endings in the area of work, health, competency, and skills you bring to the services that you provide. And for some of you, it could be like the ending of debt or money owed as well, because we've got the number 8 up here. It's the 8th card of the Lenormand deck. That 8th house speaks to the house of life, death, and rebirth. There's been the last 3 signs that I've done, Gemini, Cancer, and now you, have all had the number 8 show up in one way or another. Major transformation, life, death, and rebirth. Other people's money, that's loans, money coming in by somebody else's like earned wage, earned hand. Could be a loan, could be a scholarship, could be a grant, could be inheritance, insurance payout. We also have the 9 of diamonds. The 9 of diamonds is the 9 of coins or pentacles. And the number 9 deals with the theme of fruition. Could be the 9th house, talking about long distance trips. Like you're coming out of a funk and now you're going to go on a long distance trip, or it could be that you're moving long distance. For others of you, you're moving because of higher education, or because you're just wanting to study foreign people, foreign places, or foreign things, wanting to immerse yourself in a culture and jump from one to another, which would be another type of an ending. So that's what's going on in your world, Leo. For Virgo, this Pluto South Node conjunction is occurring in the 5th house. For you, the 5th house, well, the 5th house is traditionally ruled by Leo. Leo is ruled by the sun. And this house is the house of sparks. It's the spark of life, the spark of love, the spark of creation. It is your social life. If the 11th house is social networking, the 5th house is the people you have over for like a barbecue or a cookout, or go out to eat with, go watch a movie with, close friends, close people. The 5th house is where you fall in love. This is where your romance is. If you're an artist or a creator in any way, if you work with your hands, produce things, this is where that creation point starts. It's where the masterpiece is made. And if you're a parent, your children are your masterpiece. So it could be speaking to children or your childhood as well. Pardon me, Virgo. Let's see what's at the top of the deck for y'all. 5th house, the Tower. Dealing with buildings, organizations, possible isolation as well. Tower is the 19th card. 1 + 9 is 10. Dealing with career, status, and reputation. That's the 10th house. Dealing with authority figures. We also have the 6 of spades. 6th house. No, 5th house. I'm sorry. I'm getting you mixed up with Leo. 5th house. The 6 speaks to the 6th house. The number 6 is a theme of growth. Without growth, there has to be growing pains that come along with it. The spades are the swords. So 6 of swords is about transition or dealing with a rite of passage. For the actual tarot card, it's like there's a gondolier, a female form and like a child's form. All the backs are facing towards you, and they are moving through choppy waters, needing to go through the Six of Wands to get to the calmer seas. So it may be that there is some sort of self-imposed isolation, or self-imposed isolation so that you could build something or organize something in relation to moving past a really difficult time in your life or going through a rite of passage. It could be that this time is like a rite of passage, and the solitude is a way for you to recalibrate and rebalance things. It may be that you need to let go of some of the childhood friends or whatever you had, fifth house associated, so that you can allow more space for growth. It's like weeding or pruning in your garden, where you have to remove the leaves so that they're not, or remove the weeds so that they're not stealing the nutrients from the plants. It may be that you need to weed out your social garden, your social life. It may be that you need to weed out those childhood friends that just aren't serving your highest good anymore. And that's not to say that you're using them, but it is to say that we evolve as people, and there are ebbs and flows to everything in life, and send them on with love. That's all you can do. So Libra, let's talk about what's happening for you. This Pluto South Node conjunction at 23 degrees. Capricorn is occurring in the 4th house of home, roots, stability, family, and foundations. So check the plumbing. Check the stability of your home. And that can be the actual dwelling. It could be the relationship as well. Check your bones. Check your teeth. Because there's something in that home, family, root, stability, or foundation that needs to be removed. And I would much rather it be for you a root that's about to destroy the septic system, as opposed to it being a relationship or something to that effect. Leo got this same card, Libra. The coffin can deal with endings. It can deal with illness. And it can represent death. But death is an evolutionary point, like I was talking about. Like that Jeffery Wolf Green quote earlier, Pluto is the underlying natural law of evolution for all things, including humans. It's like when this shell falls away, our light is transformed into something else. Our spirit is transformed. We move on. We evolve. We have the number 8 association up here, associated with the 8th house on the astrological wheel, traditionally ruled by Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto and Mars. The coffin in the 8th house deals with life, death, and rebirth. It deals with major transformation and metamorphosis. It deals with the taboo. It deals with sexuality. It deals with intimate issues, the blood and guts of things, the stuff you wouldn't talk about at the dinner table. Debts owed, money coming in, loans, insurance payments, inheritances, that sort of stuff. We also have the 9 of Pentacles, or the 9 of Diamonds. The 9 of Pentacles deals with comfort and satisfaction. It's like the wish fulfillment card. So for some of you, it's like an ending to the financial situation tied with the home, and there's going to be some freedom and relief on the other side of it. Just cutting the cords of the energy of lack and resources would help a lot. And understand that everything is a cycle, and we have to come to stages of fruition to get to the completion point, and then we can reinitiate with new potentials. So yeah, home and family, there may be some older family members that are exiting. I don't like to be the bearer of bad news, but it's an evolutionary point in the home or the family. And it may be that you're changing homes. It could be that where you're at is no longer big enough, or is too much of a home for you as well. That's another thing that could work out. But yeah, Libra, home, stability, roots, family, and foundations. What needs to be let go of? You have an opportunity to do that. I suggest you cut that cord before the universe does it for you. And that would be around the 16th of July because of the full moon in Capricorn at 24 degrees. So Scorpio, this is for you. Scorpio, this Pluto South Node conjunction is occurring in your 3rd house. Pluto is your modern ruler. This is significant for you. Occurring in the 3rd house. The 3rd house is the house of your communication, your short distance trips, siblings, cousins, neighbors, your neighborhood. Maybe that you're moving. Maybe that you're cutting communication with neighbors. Maybe that you're cutting cords with siblings or cousins. It could be that you are letting go of a vehicle or an old phone. I would much rather it be that. Be careful while driving. Do not allow yourself to be distracted. And don't do anything that would get you in trouble. Because the 3rd house deals with commute. That's your vehicle. And Pluto is a very dramatic, your vehicle. Really? Really? We're doing this? All right, cool. This is the first card of the Lenormand deck. The rider is a messenger. It deals with news or messages. So we have a message coming in the house of communication. We have the 9 of Hearts here. 9 of Hearts would translate to the 9 of Cups in the tarot. The number 9 is a number of fruition. Cups deal with water sign energy, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. And the 9 of Cups is it's comfort, it's satisfaction. It could be that there's a message coming to you from a sibling, a cousin, a neighbor, indicating an ending of a situation that may have some really strong emotional ties. Could be that you are giving or receiving messages of love as well. And I would love to see it be you giving the messages of love, Scorpio, because that is you co-creating with this particular alignment. The messages of love don't necessarily have to be messages of continual or sustained love. It could be, I'm sending you on your way with all the love I can. And it may be that way for some of you. And you've probably been feeling it in whatever area of life has been going on. I know that for me personally, I'm dealing with a lot of trauma processing right now. And some of that involves my sibling relationships. And that's where it's playing out for me. Siblings, cousins, people who feel like family. And I need to remember that the goal in all of this is to try to find comfort and satisfaction and be emotionally stable. Wow, all right. So Sagittarius, this Pluto South Node conjunction is occurring in your 2nd house. This probably feels really, really scary, being in the 2nd house. Cancer, I believe, also got this card. You may want to watch that. Or it could be involving a Cancer. 2nd house is the house of your money, love, values, and possessions, your earning ability, your self-esteem. The Garden card is this 20th card of the Lenormand deck. 2 + 0 is 2. Again, reemphasizing that 2nd house of your possessions, earning ability, self-esteem, your values. It could be that your values are changing. It could be that one way of thinking or one means of valuing or self-value, it has to be cut away. The Garden card is a card of socialization. a party possibly, dealing with society. But it's playing out between the 2nd and this 8th house, the 8 of spades, the 8 of swords. It's a situation where you want to get out and socialize and you can't because money's tight. Or you want to get out and socialize, but you can't because your values have changed. Your social sphere may be changing because your values have changed. Again, like I said, for Cancer, to help combat the loneliness that you may be feeling, gardening would be a good outlet for you. Because you're given the opportunity to cut away something right now before the lunar eclipse comes through and decides for you. That eclipse, again, is on the 16th of July. So what in your 2nd house needs to go? You've been feeling it. You've been feeling it. It's that nag. It's that trigger point. It's the thing that pisses you off quick. Look at that. Capricorn. Sweet pea, how are you doing? Are you feeling beat up? Do you feel like you wake up every day asking, what did I do to piss God off? Yeah. It will pass, but it isn't right now. This is occurring in your 1st house. The 1st house is the house of your body, yourself, your personality, your appearance. There is something within you that needs to be let go of. You need to release it. Because if you don't, the full moon will take it from you. The total lunar eclipse that's occurring in your sign will be on the 16th of July at 24 degrees. So this is a point right now in April where you get an opportunity to say, this doesn't feel good. This is no longer serving me. I need to let this go. Cut that cord and be the one who makes the choice to cut that cord. Don't allow the universe to come in and cut it for you, because that hurts. That hurts. Why are you doing what you're doing, Capricorn? And this isn't a lecture, by all means, no. But why are you doing what you're doing? Is it for recognition? Why do you want the recognition? Do you want it for yourself? Are you doing it for a trophy? Are you doing it for the accolades? Are you doing it because it's the right thing to do? Do you know what the right thing to do is right now? The first of the 2 cards that I pulled for you, dear Capricorn, is the Clouds. Clouds deals with confusion and uncertainty. It's the number 6 card of the Lenormand deck. The 6 speaks to the theme of growth, and without growing pains, there would be no growth. We've got the King of Clubs. That would be the King of Wands. It's a fire sign, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. This is an authority figure that is a visionary and can be a very exuberant, lively individual. The kings represent as male, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. It's an ego-driven force, and could be like an entrepreneur, or the entrepreneurial spirit may be bugging you or wanting to bite you, and you may be confused about what it is that you're wanting to start for this new enterprise, but it's an issue in that 6th house for some of you. I mean, the 1st house is opposite the 6th and 7th house. And then the 6th house is the house of Virgo, traditionally ruled by Mercury. And this Mercury retrograde may have been very difficult for some of you. I think it was difficult for the whole damn world, to be honest. But the 6 on the astrological wheel is work, health, competency, and skills that you bring to the services that you provide. It could also be dealing with your pets. Some of you may be like, some of your pets may get out and just be gone on the road, running. Like, cat gets out, constantly been trying to get out and finally does, that sort of thing. or dog is able to dig under the fence or jump it. Or there's just major confusion between yourself and what's going on in your external world. It's a conflict between the internal and the external. And then for more information, I pulled another card, which is the book. The book is the 26th card of the Lenormand deck. It deals with secrets. It deals with education. It deals with learning. It could be that you're confused about what you're wanting to go back to school for. You're feeling the push to level up. You're not using what you've initially invested in, and that could be whatever, trade school, just taking managerial jobs, whatever. But you're feeling the push or the need to level up in some way. And the book could speak to the need for doing more learning or putting more time into your education. For some of you, the confusion and uncertainty is coming around because of secrets. And the book also references and speaks to secrets. 26th card of the Lenormand deck, 2 plus 6 is 8. That speaks to the 8th house of Scorpio. And it deals with life, death, and rebirth. It deals with major transformation. It deals with intimate issues. It deals with like the loaning of money and like scholarships, inheritance, stuff like that. We also have the 10 of Pentacles as another delineation to look at. 10 of Pentacles is a card of completion, dealing with, well, the coins are pentacles. Earth sign, that's Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. And the 10 of Pentacles is speaking to wealth and establishment. For some of you, you're confused about how you're going to get to the wealth and establishment that you're wanting because you need to level up in your career somehow, so you're deciding to go back to school. For others of you, you want to level up your earning ability, and it's like there's been some secrets in the financial realm, especially between like married Capricorns. There's been some confusion, or you're learning about something that was hidden or not easily seen until now. And it could really rock your world. You could really be seeing the shadow side of yourself, or you could be seeing the shadow side of other people. But because it's in your sign, I'm more inclined to believe that it is your shadow that you're seeing and not others. With Saturn being there as well, that is a difficult, tense, formative, under like very destructive energy. It's demanding that you destruct for the sake of sacred reconstruction. So Aquarius, this is occurring in your 12th house. We have Pluto conjunct the South Node, 23 degrees in your 12th house. 12th house is the most difficult house on the astrological wheel to describe and see. It's the house of secrets. It's the house of karma. It's the house of hidden, nebulous things. It's the house of the dream space, illusion, delusion, addiction. I think of the 12th house, the analogy that I use is you're on a boat in the middle of a body of water, and you want to look at the very bottom, the surface floor of that body of water. But you don't want to get in the water, and you don't have any means of doing it. You can't look at the seafloor from the top surface level of the water level on the ocean. It's just impossible. That's what trying to describe the 12th house is like. But with it being 12th house, for some of you, your dreams are a hellscape. For others of you, you are dealing with very deeply hidden secrets that are either just now starting to come out or are being found out possibly by reading somebody's stuff. I do think, though, that in our dream space, that's the best place for us to process our trauma. It's hard, but yeah. All right. I said your dreams were a hellscape. So we have the number 10 card of the I want to say Major Arcana every time, but it's not. It's the Lenormand. About half the size of the tarot deck. Skeeth, Scythe, Seath, however you pronounce it. This is 10th card of the Lenormand deck. It deals with accidents. It deals with cuts and cutting away. And it can deal with evil or ill intent. The number 10 is significant. Could be dealing with a Capricorn because Capricorn rules the 10th house. Or it could just, again, be speaking to this Pluto South Node conjunction occurring where cutting away needs to happen. Some of you may literally be cutting away a Capricorn. Sun, moon, or rising, just depending. We have the Jack of Diamonds as well. The Jacks I attribute to the Knight and Page energy. Motion, movement, message, or messengers. And the diamonds are the coins or pentacles. That would be Earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. Again, more Capricorn stuff. This could be speaking about wanting, dreaming about. Pardon me. Let me get some water. How about that? Could be that you are dealing with messages or messengers imploring you to work on your efficiency and get your routine down. Could be speaking to the idea of new enterprise or manifestation. It may be that you have unconsciously or subconsciously manifested something that you do not want, and you have to cut all cords and all ties. Wouldn't be surprised at all if it was something like that. You may want to watch the Capricorn Lenormand video as well. Segment of this video that I'm going to have time-stamped down below. Pisces. Beautiful Pisces. This Pluto South Node conjunction is occurring at 23 degrees for you in the 11th house of social networking. And this is online or face-to-face, social networking, social media, dealing with groups, memberships, teams, and associations that you may have face-to-face or online. Or it could be dealing with like your online, the amount of time you spend online. What shadow side stuff are we cutting away for the Pisces? Or needs to be looked at least. Released. All right. Social. Society stuff. This card has popped up for Cancer, for Sagittarius, and now Pisces. So those may be helpful for you as well, watching those videos. Or you may be dealing with a Cancer or a Sagittarius. All of those types of things could occur. This is the 20th card of the Lenormand deck. 2 + 0 is 2. That speaks to the second house on the astrological wheel. That's the house of your money, love, values, possessions, earning ability, and self-esteem. So we're looking at our values. We're looking at our societal situations with the garden. This could be dealing with socialization, a party, or society. It may be that some of you need to cut away your feelings about a social engagement that occurred where you could have been reading it wrong, especially in the last month, Pisces, because Mercury's been retrograde in Pisces all of March. It felt like a complete shit show. I know it did for you because Mercury went conjunct 3 separate times on Neptune alone. I believe it was February 17th or 19th, and then March 23rd, 24th, and then the 2nd of April, I believe. I mean, I got sick. I lost my voice. I didn't do 2 card of the day draws at all. I'm going to, after I do this, do the rest of the month so that I'm not put in a position where I'm delayed on giving you the information I'm trying to give y'all. Another delineator we can look at is the 8 of Spades. The 8 of Spades would be the 8 of Swords. The number 8 is a theme of change. So there's a change going on between your social networking, your teams, groups, memberships, and associations, and what you value, what you love, your possessions. This 8 of Swords deals with isolation and imprisonment, and it's tied to the theme of money, self-esteem, and social networking in one way or another. A good way for you to work with this energy and deal with this energy is to focus in your garden. If you don't have one, plant a little plant. It would be a really... Anytime you have something living that you need to take care of in your home, it's always a good energetic receptor. Plants, animals, kids, you know. It brings more life into the house. And it may be that that's what you need. You may need some more life in the house, Pisces. Well, y'all, that's what I've got for you. Remember that this is Pluto conjunct the South Node. Pluto being the purge, the shadow side, the yuck, and the South Node being the toilet flush that removes it. We're getting an opportunity. This is a chance from the universe to cut away these things in these specific areas of life that I spoke about, either dealing with the cards or that area of life in the astrological house, for you to be able to negotiate this major evolutionary stage. Because Jeffery Wolf Green indicated that Pluto is the underlying natural law of evolution for all things, including humans. So if you do not release this, the evolutionary stage, the evolutionary growth that you're going to go through is going to be more difficult. Release while you can. It's better when you do it. When the universe does it, it pays no mind to what your favoritism would be. It removes what needs to be removed, and it can be done quickly and very, very harshly sometimes. And I don't want that for y'all. So forewarned is forearmed. This is going to be, like I said, an active energy up until at least mid-April, and then it's going to shift from Pluto to Saturn. The moon, the nodes of the moon always move in a retrograde motion. So we're hitting Pluto first at 23 degrees, and at the end of the month, we're going to be visiting Saturn at 20 degrees. And that's going to speak more to the new moon solar eclipse that occurred at the beginning of the year. But it is what it is. I'm going to let y'all go. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you here tomorrow with another video for you to watch. I hope it's informative, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Take care, y'all, and I'll see you soon. Love y'all. Bye.